Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost?
While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you. Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit sceducationlottery.com.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Welcome into Two Guys, One Pod, Fantasy Football Podcast. I am legendary ball knower, aka the hostess with the mostest, aka Chev Sanders, aka Chev90, and I'm here with the Narddog, the naughty Narddog. Oh, that sounded kind of weird. That's a little strange. I'm with the sleazy Sleazak. I'm with Addison, and today we have a special guest. Double secret probation style. I'm here with 2024 Chow Champ Scott.
All right.
Scott, I don't know your last name. What's your last name, Scott?
Malatesta. Italian, mal means bad, testa means head. So you can call me the bad head or headache.
I'm probably
I don't know what that means for your wife there.
She's now a Malatesta as well, so sucks to suck.
I feel bad for both of you.
All right. So listen, we're last names and meanings and origins aside, we're here to talk some best ball today and what's going on. And Scott knows a thing or two about best ball. He's the legendary best ball knower. So Scott, what are you finding? What are you leaning into? Addison, we'll get back to you in a second. There's no need for you right now. Let Scott and I talk. We're best friends. So, Scott, what are you finding early on in best ball? Some advantages in lineup construction. Like, what are you thinking about? What are some leans that you have early on in the process?
Well, what we've seen from some of these recent signings is buy on the people who are going to rise when the inevitable happens, right? We saw Rodgers get signed this week. His ADP's up 20, 30 spots. JK Dobbins has jumped 10 spots in 3 days. Like, we know Keenan Allen is going to sign with a team at some point. If you want your exposure, get it now. So that's what I'm leaning into. I'm not like Addison, just loving the old guys, but when the opportunity strikes, I mean, best ball is just a market. It's ever changing, and time to strike now before it's too late.
So you hinted at something that's very important, and I do like people. I do like Keenan Allen. He did not look cooked at all. We can talk about a little bit more about Keenan Allen. I want to turn this into an old man podcast, and leaning into that old man thing that you alluded to earlier was, Addison's into the old guys, the loose skin, the old balls, the AARP cards. I just watched him put a best ball together, or not a best ball, a dynasty roster together of guys that graduated high school in the late aughts of the early 2000s. So that's just, his average age was probably like 32 throughout the roster. It was impressive. It was a bit, and he leaned into it, and so it's just old everywhere. So Addison,
got that win now mentality.
Yeah, got that win now or win never mentality. Love that for you. By the way, how are we doing today, buddy?
Oh, I mean, I'm really enjoying this podcast turned Addison roast. that you guys have going here. Love when I can get friends together to make fun of me. One of my favorite things. So happy to be here. And to be honest, we had some old players sign. Nick Chubb went to the Texans. JK Dobbins to the Broncos, like we alluded to. Like we got some old guys with some juice in those legs, man. Like give me more running backs I can get late in the draft. I love it.
Yeah. That's a great point. So I guess we're talking about old guys that sign. Which one of those do you feel like is going to? Which one of those guys, Scott, if you don't mind, how? Which one of those guys do you think is going to rise in the draft the most? Like current ADP versus where they'll be in, say, like by 4th of July. Would you say it would be Nick Chubb, or would you say which one do you think will be put more fantasy points on people's plates? JK Dobbins or Nick Chubb?
I definitely think we'll see JK Dobbins rise faster. His season last year was much more well-rounded. He got a little banged up there in the second third of the season, but came back strong heading into the playoffs and was a pretty big piece for the Chargers. I was surprised that they didn't get him back, and when they signed him to that tender that required that if he moved to another team that they would be compensated, I thought he would be a Charger again. So surprised to see him in Denver, but Denver's going to rotate those running backs. We love that Sean Payton offense, especially for the running back. And it definitely shakes things up a bit. I mean, people have been really high on Harvey, and I mean, Estime has been going in the 18th round. So people have been saying online, Harvey's the same and forget about Estime. And I kind of just leave everybody where they were. Maybe a little bit back on Harvey, but I think this is going to be a 3-headed backfield. And we also know that there's McLaughlin as well. So it could be 4.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that would be.
I mean, Estime's left for dead. Like, I don't know. I was willing to buy in on Estime last year, but he got the chance, and we didn't see anything come from that chance. Like, he looked like Nick Chubb last year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think he even suited up for the playoff game, right? I think he was a healthy scratch. So
Estime was a healthy scratch in the
replacement.
playoff game?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I personally, I think that Dobbins ends up kind of playing the Mark Ingram role from the end of his tenure in New Orleans. I think he's never given us very much as a pass catcher, but you saw last year he was able to handle all of the early down work, a lot of the short yardage work for the Chargers. He can do that. He's going to be able to do that. The Denver Broncos have one of the highest rated run blocking offensive units, offensive lines in the entire NFL. So I think it's going to be really good for what you can get for J.K. Dobbins versus his price point right now. So I would lean to J.K. Dobbins as well.
If you looked at different people in the draft, different tiers of running backs, where do you think J.K. Dobbins slots in right now?
I think that's a great question. Let me look at. I probably should have just had these pulled up anyway. My running back rankings, so I could answer that question for you. But I think that I would have to. I think he's somewhere around probably like tier 8 or tier 9. So just behind like Aaron Jones. The Aaron Joneses, like the older guys, the Tony Pollards.
Wait, are these Addison's takes for later today? His 0 RB targets, the older guys, Pollard. I think you said that name, and
yeah, I did.
Aaron Jones, another old guy.
Yeah. The old guys.
The Aaron Jones hate, I don't really get. I feel like he's going way too late in these drafts. Like
I think he's a value.
Last year that say yeah. What did he show last year that says he's slowing down?
He just got older.
Yeah, it's true.
And this is where he was drafted last year. He's being drafted in the exact same spot this year as last year. And he panned out, but he's got an injury history. So maybe more to come on Aaron Jones later.
That's the thing, is the beautiful part, the beautiful exploitable flaw in the game itself, honestly, is you take an old player, that has shown you no signs of decline. All they do is get a year older. They don't get hurt, and then you get a baked in discount because Aaron Jones plays 14 games. He's going to be a top 24 running back, probably top 18 in points per game. And he's essentially free because he's old. That's, where's he going? Is he RB, like 30 something off the board?
Yeah, I thought he was 28, but last time I checked, he was there. I feel like it's baking in Mason pretty heavily, which I can respect. I thought Mason actually showed one or two things last year. It's just Mason doesn't take anything away from the passing game. And
Right.
if
Great point.
if JJ McCarthy can play, which I think he can, like that's definitely a discussion. Best OTA player of all time. But like when you have a guy like that coming in and he's able to put up a decent offense, the running back check down, that's his best friend. And I think that Aaron Jones is going to be a huge part of that game.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here. And you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with that. That's an excellent point. I mean,
So Pollard right now Jones is going right now with Swift, Pollard, Pacheco, and Brian Robinson. Out of that group, would you say that Jones is your favorite?
Jones
I
would
love
be
DeAndre Swift.
Jones would be the safest bet to outperform that. I say Swift is the safest for volume. Pollard is in a lower yield, perceived yield offense, so I could see why you would bump him down a little bit. But they're all kind of Spider-Man meme, but I would put Aaron Jones at the top of it because he's in the best offensive ecosystem, probably going to make the most red zone trips. He might not be the goal line back anymore, which changes for fantasy a little bit, but he's still going to handle 275 touches at bare minimum if he's healthy. So, yeah, out of that group, you said Swift, you said Pollard, you said Pacheco. Yeah, give me Aaron Jones.
I think I'm going with Pacheco at this point. I was a little low to start, but reports from camp have been pretty healthy, and people are going back to the Pollard broke his ankle, wasn't very good for Dallas for a year, and came out looking pretty good last year. So are we sleeping on Pacheco right now? Is the Kansas City running back one going at ADP 85 right now in RB 29?
Kansas City RB1? That's Kareem Hunt, I thought. Sorry, joking.
That's
Come
a
on.
weird way to
I
say,
like old
that's
guys.
a
I don't
weird
like
way
them
to
like
say Bashard Smith.
that. Well, we got three names here. I love that.
My bad. Just any Chiefs propaganda. Anytime anybody mentions the Chiefs, I've got to talk. I'm contractually obligated. I'm a part of his PR team now.
Well, although I love yapping it up about running backs here, we actually have a topic on the show sheet, so I'm going to get us on point here and say
Just
that
going,
we
bro.
are going. We are going 0 RB targets today, and we want to start by kind of going over what 0 RB means in this context. It means something a little bit different for best ball specifically than it does for redraft or dynasty. Obviously, on a dynasty roster, you're going to get tons of guys. you're going to end up with a full running back room unless you're certifiably insane, because you need those guys on your roster. In redraft, it's typically going to mean that you have 5 guys, but they're all later round. But best ball specifically, I think we're into the era where we can really talk about zero RB, meaning zero RB for once. Because previously it meant, I don't take a guy until the 3rd or 4th round. That's not really zero RB in my mindset. Scott actually has been selling me on the zero RB strategy this year. And I'd love to hear how your best ball lineup configuration tends to look, Scott.
Well, whether you're going zero RB or hero RB, I think the strategy is pretty similar. It's about loading up on wide receivers early, which they say that elite wide receiver production is hard to find outside of the first 80 picks. Like, usually you know who's going to be an elite receiver, and it's a lot harder to find a diamond in the rough versus zero RB, where the idea is that you can find running back value late in the draft, because running back is more of an opportunity-based position versus wide receiver, which is a little bit more of a talent-based position. So the strategy is to load up on receivers, grab your onesie positions early, a quarterback, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, grab a Trey McBride or a Brock Bowers, and fill up your wide receiver room before that teardrop. Pretty dramatic teardrop. You think, like, after you get through Mooney, Bateman, that crew, all of a sudden you're kind of taking stabs in the dark. Versus the RB position, you got guys who have potential for very high volume and can fill a RB1 role anytime. Like, let's look at Chase Brown last year, right? He was going pick 100, 110. He ended up being a running back 1. Much harder to find at a wide receiver position at that part of the draft.
I can follow up on that. I agree with the concept, but I kind of lean against the load up on wide receiver early. Obviously, you got to take one in your first pick if you're going zero RB. I don't think that you're taking Brock Bowers and necessarily loving your lineup. I always feel like there's tight end that's a little overvalued, especially in best ball streets. But
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here, and you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
Order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
The main thing about this strategy that has stuck out for me in recent drafts is the onesie positions, because we're talking about the probably first time in a long time that you can get a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Jaden Daniels late 3rd round, sometimes in the 4th. Like, the QB1 is going to come from someone in that top 5 group, more than likely, or a Rich, but I'll keep that one quiet.
No.
I'm glad you said true right there. Got to keep that soundbite.
That's a disgusting. Oh, I can't believe you did that, you dirty dog.
Now, do you find this strategy palatable, Chev?
Actually, I do. So I don't, but so yes and no. It doesn't feel good to be bypassing a lot of those guaranteed workhorse guys. Like Scott hit it on the head when he said it's running back's an opportunity based, position, as opposed to wide receiver being targets are earned. So if you're not good, you're not going to earn targets. There's only so many of those to go around. I like the idea of being able to get some hammer wide receiver. Now, I don't want to settle in those early picks for somebody just because I think that they might. If I'm drafting you at your ceiling performance wise, like that's not, I feel like that's a winning bet. But I do like some of the running back value in the later round. So I'm kind of interested to see where you guys are taking this specifically. So what's the first? I guess what's the first? I mean, if we're comfortable moving on, like what's the first
Yeah, please.
name that comes to mind when you're talking about zero RB candidates? Scott, you're our guest. You can lead off with your guy.
Oh, well, this is perfect. I think we were just praising Aaron Jones for the first half of this show. And here I am to praise his backup, Jordan Mason. We've been hearing on the Coach Speak Index over on X that the coaching staff loves Mason. They got him slated for the goal line role, the yardage role. And we've seen Jordan Mason be an RB1. I think he recorded 3 RB1 weeks out of his 6 weeks of covering for Christian McCaffrey. He's a great handcuff with an everyday role with great contingent upside. We've seen him do it, and why not? Minnesota's gonna be a high-powered offense, as you said. He's not gonna be the receiving back. That's definitely gonna be Aaron Jones. But we've seen Jones go down in the past for 3, 4, 6 weeks of the season, and no reason he couldn't do it again this year. So I'm loving Jordan Mason, pick 100 right now, and like the 35th running back off the board.
So I love that call because that's quintessential zero RB. If something happens to Aaron Jones because of the fact that he's just, older, and then we just saw him get his last season in Green Bay, he was efficient on a per game basis, but he missed some time with an injury. So Jordan Mason's a tremendous call, and that for what he represents, for what he could have if he has the goal line role, that portends to be a really, really valuable role because of the fact that he's, it's a high powered offense and he's very efficient. So love that call. Addison, I bet you can't do better than that.
I bet you I can. I'm going to take the zero RB pick that's been the zero RB pick for about 2.5 years, David Montgomery. And every year,
Okay.
it's the same thing we say every year, man. Like David Montgomery's going at RB 23, pick 70, 12 touchdowns last year. They didn't add a running back in the draft. They didn't add any competition. Craig Reynolds is still their third running back, who sounds like a U.S. history teacher. And every single year we talk about, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to take this entire backfield. He's not. David Montgomery's an integral part of their offense. They use him like that. He is a 3-down running back. He's able to catch the ball, and they use him in that manner. He was still able to put up receptions last year, and we are getting him at another discount. And to be honest, I think Jordan Mason's in that same sort of mold as David Montgomery, where he is going to be an integral part of the offense, and you're getting him around where he should be going. I love those targets where they're going to get volume, and you're also going to get value on him because you aren't taking him at his ceiling. His ceiling would be RB 10, where he finished last year.
Okay, counselor. All right. Okay. I almost broke out the collection plate at one point. You're preaching right now. Like that's an outstanding pick because here's the thing. If David Montgomery stays healthy, he's going to have games where he has 18 to 20 carries and 2 or 3 receptions just because it's a David Montgomery style game where they need to bludgeon you to death. And it just so happens that he's in one of the best offenses. Those are 2 excellent calls. I think that there's a path where both of those backfields, almost certainly the Lions, David Montgomery is going to be top 12 if he stays healthy. They'll have two top 12 backs. And then I feel like Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason could both be top 24.
Yep. Without a doubt. And we're getting into your favorite late round running back here. I know I'm jumping over on the show sheet, but Scott, I told you and JC would get along. Easiest way to get on his good side, mention Trey Benson.
Yeah.
Trey Benson. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Come on with it. Speak the words of truth and power about the one they call Trey Benson, my guy.
Trey Benson, 3rd round pick last year, very, very beginning of the 3rd round, 2nd running back off the board. I understand that it wasn't the strongest running back class last year, but I don't think we've seen anything yet. You saw his role slowly start to expand as the year went long. And here we were in previous seasons saying, draft Connor's backup. He never makes it through a full season. Draft Connor's backup. He never makes it through. Last season, he actually did make it through a full season. So let's head back to our priors and remember that most likely Connor is not going to play all 17 games this year. And I'm buying on the Arizona offense right now. They're retaining 10 of 11 starters from last year on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that this team is going to step up in a meaningful way. You're hearing some buzz out of camp. Routes are getting more complex for Marvin Harrison. And I just think the passing game is going to open up the rushing game. You got a 2-headed backfield. Connor doesn't need 250 carries a year. They would love nothing more than to split that backfield and try and win 9 or 10 games this year. So I'm all in. Trey Benson going 140 right now. He's been kind of just chilling at that spot the entire time. Anytime he's on the board, I'm snagging him. So yeah, pick 140 as the RB 44. So we just said that we're going to have 2 Minnesota guys in the top 24. Why not 2 Arizona guys? Or why not Trey Benson and, Connor kind of is meh. You never know.
We aren't talking about DeMarcado? Sorry, go ahead, Chev.
My goodness. So we're off to a tremendous start here. I've been banging the drum for Trey Benson since early in the offseason. I talked about how James Conner played a career high in his games played. The career high when it was in touches, the games played, yards from scrimmage, going into his age 30 season. We would be fools to assume that he's going to continue and not regress back to what his norm is, which is around 13 or 14 games. So I think that Trey Benson has potential if given the workload, the full James Conner workload. James Conner misses time. He's going to win you multiple weeks. He's extremely efficient, 4.6 yards a carry, 10 yards a reception. As a rookie and very limited work, you could see that he was getting comfortable in that scheme. I don't think that they're going to change schemes. It's still Drew Petzing as the offensive coordinator, even though Clayton Adams has moved on to the Dallas Cowboys. I think that we could see a jump in the style, like what our evaluations were of him as an explosive prospect coming out of Florida State, more so than just kind of the rookie that's doing spot duty. I think he has much more potential. And yeah, this could be another guy that's a top 24 guy, but I think that he has the potential to give you, there's going to be some really bad weeks because he's not going to touch the ball all the time. But long story short, he's going to have multiple weeks where if he gets the workload, he's probably a high-end RB1. Week win.
And to go along with that, they told us last year that DeMarcado was in because Trey Benson was picking up the scheme. He was still learning it. He was still figuring out how to play in that offense. And to be honest, you saw plays where he definitely was trying to make something happen out of nothing.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here, and you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
Order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
And that's the kind of player that you want to take in the second year because you know that they've shown that explosiveness. All they need to do is actually lean into that scheme fit and be able to show that they are the prospect that we saw they were. Trey Benson's an excellent example. Hey, I'm glad we're all agreeing on all these takes. Makes for excellent radio.
Well, why don't you give us your next running back here?
Yeah, I know. This is where it's going to fall off the rails. I already see Scott's other one on here, so we're going to have some discourse here.
Yes,
Tony
it's time to
Pollard.
fight.
Ready. Fight.
Yes. Tony Pollard at RB 27. You can get him at pick 81. I've been getting him everywhere. And we got to see him in a full RB1 role, still coming off of injury in Tennessee, and he played great. He had 9 usable weeks. Arguably, the offense has to be better than with Will Levis. At a minimum, they're going to give up less opportunities.
Please,
Can't
God,
be worse, right?
Please.
Yeah, I don't know if you know here, Scott, but we got a Titans fan on the pod here, so
That's a Corey Davis
we're hoping for
back here, man.
I think I saw something yesterday on X that Cam Ward is looking like having the same skill set as Jaden Daniels last year, and hearing some very similar commentary. So let us bring some hope to you there.
Yeah, you don't got legs like that. Come on now.
I don't. It's not about the legs. It's about what's up here, man. It's about what's between the ears. No, I mean,
well,
I'm not gonna derail us. I have been watching Cam Ward propaganda for the last 24 hours straight. I only nap right now, and I just watch Cam Ward propaganda on the Twitter X machine. So honestly, we're not talking about Cam Ward right now. You guys leave me alone about Cam Ward. Okay?
All right, I'll get us back on Tony Pollard.
Get back to Tony Pollard.
On Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Okay. We're using a 3-game sample size of Tajay Spears taking over that backfield at the end of the season to justify the fact that Tony Pollard should be at RB 27. If we were looking at workload objectively, Tony Pollard would be a top 20 running back. And we've been waiting for Tony Pollard to have that backfield to himself since early in his career in Dallas. I think this year we finally get to see that potential. I think he finally realizes it. And I think he is one of the best picks you can make late in the draft if you went 0 RB.
Scott, do you have a rebuttal to this?
First of all, I do like Tony Pollard, but I think I'm more in on Tajay Spears. 50 picks later, these guys were going neck and neck last year during the summer. Coaching staff was saying it was going to be 50-50. Let's be honest, came out, wasn't quite 50-50. Tajay Spears was definitely more in the third down role, but he got banged up real early, and we never really got to see much Tajay Spears. So you're right, he did put together those 3 great weeks at the end of the season, but kind of just reconfirmed the priors from his first year and maybe right off the beginning of the season due to his injury. And I was looking into some research today for the pod, and I realized Tony Pollard's top week last week was RB5 in week 12 against Houston, and then he had a RB11, RB12, RB12, RB14. There's no ceiling there. And if I'm going to be taking him, pick 80, I'd rather go 50 picks later, going at ADP 133, running back 41, Tajay Spears.
Okay, so RB12 in the worst offense in the league isn't ceiling. We're leading off there. That's a bold sentiment there, Scotty boy.
Well, Tajay Spears in the same offense was 5, 13, and 13 towards the end. So, playing horrible Cincinnati and dead Indy and dead Jacksonville. But 50 ADP discount, what are we talking about? 4.5 rounds there? I don't know. It should be closer. How about that? I'm taking both.
It should be close.
I got nothing wrong with Pollard, but I don't know. Why not take more Spears while you're at it?
Oh man. Okay. So okay. two things can be true. I still think that the backfield with Tony Pollard healthy belongs to Tony Pollard. I think that he's still in line for, whatever his touch count was this year. I think that Tyjae Spears will be extremely efficient on his touches, but he'll probably only end with about, if everything goes right, like 160 to Tony Pollard's 275 to 280. And so it limits the upside, but Tyjae Spears is very explosive, been very efficient on a per touch basis, one of the best pass catching running backs in the league. He has the potential to win you weeks. We saw that last year. So I still love the fact that you can get him much later if you just want to have a piece of the offense or a tie-in. You take him, and then you take Cam Ward, much, much later in a best ball draft if you do a custodian build of some sort. Like, Cam Ward could be I hate it because I feel like I'm talking about Cam Ward too much, because I just told you aggressive visions about what I think he is. Aggressive. I should probably see a therapist or something. But I think that this could be a better offense than people are giving it credit for. And so the talent alone in Tyjae Spears represents something that could return value immediately. 12, 14, 15 points a game.
So I'm sorry to lean into Cam Ward here because we definitely have to, but Cam Ward dragged Damian Martinez into the NFL draft. Like, Damian Martinez is not a special running back prospect by all meaningful athletic metrics, and he was able to get in there because he could catch a ball from Cam Ward. And we see constantly that Cam Ward is willing to check down. He goes through his read set. He's not like Will Levis, where if the first read isn't open, he gets down on his knees and chucks it as hard as he can at a defender. Like, we actually get to see that offense with Tyjae Spears in a receiving back role, which we didn't get to see last year. Like, Mason Rudolph is not the type of quarterback who throws a lot of checkdowns. Despite what you might think about Mason Rudolph, the guy is a first or second read, or he is taking the sack kind of guy. So
Mason Rudolph, oh yeah, that's right. My bad. I was thinking the guy from
they had a little
Minnesota.
Mason
I
in
was
there.
like, what? Yeah, he played 4 weeks last year? Crazy. I was back with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know. If he's the backup for Pittsburgh, we'll see. Still, I think there is an argument for both of those guys to be meaningful impacts in this fantasy season, and I really can't go wrong with either of those picks. I think that I think you hit on the head that Tyjae Spears at that value honestly should be a smarter pick because you can get him 5 rounds of discount. I'm never gonna say no to 270 picks in the 80s. Like, come on, 270 touches is crazy, and he will be around there if he's healthy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great
Pardon
point.
my Spanish, but porque no los dos. You could even throw both of them on the same team. You could stack that even with Cam Ward. You said he had 291. He had 301 touches last year. Pollard did. Despite being limping into the entire second half of the season. I had him on my fantasy team, and I was just hoping he would suit up every week. So, porque no los dos.
He sees the vision. There we go. I think Tennessee and Carolina could both take major steps forward this year offensively. Just having stable quarterback play and upgrading the weapons. In Bryce Young's case, just upgrading the weapons, getting Ted McMillan, Jalen Coker taking a step forward. Jalen Coker for forever. Xavier Legette maybe almost is approaching never for me.
He's hurt again. His foot's not looking so good. So
Yeah.
I saw a random report on that yesterday, and that is not a good sign. He had off-season surgery on that, but I'm such a Leggett guy. You listen to one interview and like, how could you not be in love? And he rides that horse. I mean, he's great. But
listen, it's super cool. It's
Yeah,
a
with
super
another
cool
player.
personality thing.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Yeah. I mean, Zamir White, another player that won't be scoring any fantasy points this year that rides horses.
Oh, my goodness. Guys, this is... I really want Xavier Leggett to be a thing. I really want him to be a thing. But he can't play outside. Like you saw, he had some decent performances, and then they started making him do like real wide receiver stuff, just lined up outside. He just couldn't do it. He lost in contested catch situations. I thought that was going to be a positive and a strength of his game, and I saw him lose those time and time and time again. It's like, if that was supposed to be your strength and you can't do that, and I knew you couldn't do some of the other stuff, but then Jalen Coker can freaking do everything. He's just an undrafted free agent and you're a first round pick. Like, no ball, Carolina. Just no ball. But I didn't mean to
feels so N'Keal Harry. That feels so N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers-y to me.
Oh, that's dirty. That's nasty. That's nasty work. But that's a great comparison. That's kind of who Jalen Coker reminds me of, is Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Very similar, hopefully similar career arcs. But Addison, give us your last running back. This is a guy I think we both really liked going into 2024, and then we were personally harmed by Bucky Irving. So give us your last guy here.
Yeah. We're talking about the starter for Tampa Bay, who started 15 of their games last year. It's on the stat sheet. Yeah. He gets the first snap though. Come on. It is Rachaad White. Yeah. RB 45, pick 142. I'm getting dirty here. I went a little bit lower than pick 80. I didn't go with cheap shots this whole show. I wanted to keep at least something in here that's a bold take. Everyone loved this guy's prospect profile 2 years ago. You know, like we absolutely adored it. We were talking about how Leonard Fournette needs to get off the field and Rachaad White should come into his own. And he comes in, puts up, I believe, an RB6 season, RB5, and then RB4, very sorry. And then they draft Bucky Irving, who is the truth. Don't get me wrong. I have no shade to be put on Bucky Irving, but we're talking about a smaller running back who dealt with some injuries last year as well. And Rachaad White was still the starter over him in 15 games. He still had 5 usable weeks, and he was arguably their third down back. He had 51 receptions last year. I think that is a guy that is a deal and a half going at RB 45 because we aren't losing anything from him. We're getting him at his absolute floor because he did better than this last year. And last year sure felt like a floor. Like, you had him on a lot of teams, Chev. Feel like a floor to you?
Yeah. I mean, pass catching chops, when he was getting the goal line work. So this is another guy that his skill set and the ADP don't match because your thing that you mentioned at bare minimum, he's going to be used enough to be a top 30 running back. This offense is high yield enough to where he could be a top 30 running back just if he's healthy and playing snaps. So I think that it's a really, really high upside bet in making a selection for Rachaad White where he's going. You said pick 145.
142, yeah.
142. Yeah, go and pick 142. That thing is if he's able to, you've seen what happens if he's able to get volume and it turns into running back 4. If something happens to Bucky Irving, misses time for whatever reason, Rachaad White's an automatic must play almost every single week. And then he's probably going to return on that and be in your best ball lineups more times than not.
Before we get Scott on this, I have a question for him. Tajay Spears or Rachaad White? You're getting them in the same round. Who would you rather have there? Because I like the better offense, theoretically.
I go Rachaad White. We've seen it.
Okay, there you go.
7 of 8 weeks. 7 of 8 weeks there in the middle of the season where he was a top a running back 2. He was a running back 1 3 of those 8 weeks. We've seen it. We know it can be done. He's going to have some standalone value. He's got tons of contingent value. And he's going right in that handcuff range. But if you're the names next to him, Arindo, Algier, Bigsby, Benson, Jaden Blue.
Gross.
Rachaad White should be going right next to Tajay Spears, right in that same range. Ramondre Stevenson or Rachaad White. Rachaad White, right? They're going.
Oh, don't
16...
say mean stuff about Stevenson.
Is that another target of yours there? There's really a great list here in the middle.
I love dusty running backs. Come on. Stevenson's my boy.
Listen. All right. So, all right. Just stay with me here, guys. So let's just throw this out there. If Ramondre isn't fumbling, are we certain that immediately Travion Henderson is the lead dog in handling 65% of the carries and touches? I mean, is it more than likely a 55-45 split if Ramondre is not fumbling the football? And even
if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'd take Ramondre.
Even if Travion Henderson is extremely explosive, if this offense is fair to middling, then Ramondre Stevenson's going to return on value, going around 9 right now. He's going to return on that value and be top 24. If he's another guy that's going to handle, 175 touches at worst, maybe more. Is he the goal line back to, Travion Henderson kind of being the satellite back and handling some of the early down work? Do we think that Travion Henderson just comes in and just completely eviscerates Ramondre Stevenson if Ramondre Stevenson is not fumbling the football?
Tell me what you think, Scott.
We got Vrabel, an older coach, more old school. I do think Ramondre has a pretty sizable role for a good part of the season. Late in the season, maybe May and Henderson got that going, but yeah, it still even could be 55-45. I think I've been even more convinced to try and ditch some of these earlier round running backs today, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of good values at running back this year. So don't be afraid. Go draft your wide receivers up front, your single positions that you want, and then get here in this middle section of the draft, and you can go Devontae, who I don't love, but he's still considered the running back 1 in Dallas. Ramondre, Spears, Ray Davis, who I love. Ray Davis, I just think he could be getting 35-40% of the carries. Yeah, and no reason that he's not going to take a couple of those Josh Allen rushing touchdowns this year. Jaden Blue, I'm a little out. He's, to me, he's scripted out of being that RB1. He's more of a third down catcher. Trey Benson, Rachaad White. I like Garendo. I don't know if CMC's role is going to be as huge. We just hit a sweet middle spot here. Algier, Bigsby, Eckler, Roshan, all those guys have guaranteed roles this year. So I see Addison shaking his face. Didn't like one of those
You're
names.
just gonna pan over that you said CMC is gonna lose touches to Grendo.
I just don't think that they need to go all in and put him on 90% of snaps. Like, why not give Garendo 30? I don't think Garendo has a ton of standalone value, but I don't think CMC needs his full role. Not that I'm not drafting as much CMC as I can right now, but I don't know. Why?
Love that hedge. That was the best hedge take I've ever heard. That's why you're the Chow Chow Champ, man. Like being able to talk out of one side of your mouth saying that you're taking CMC everywhere and talk out of the other side and say that Garendo's getting 30% of the role. Like fantastic. Excellent work. I could learn a lot there. But
that was masterful. I'm not gonna lie. Listen.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying though. Like there's no reason for CMC to have those games where it's like 29 carries and 8 receptions. There's no reason to give him a 37 touch game. Like give Isaac Garendo 12 touches. See what happens with that. And it's such a good offense that he could end up, being usable for best balls like a flex. He got 12 touches a week. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Would that not be something that
if you can punch one in, sure.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a lot of CMC right now because a month ago he was 14th off the board. Now he's rushed his way up to 8th. And this window is closing.
Whoa.
This pocket is almost gone. And I won't be drafting
it's closing
as
quick.
soon as he gets to that like Puka or CMC range, that's when I'm going to make the decision. But for now, would I rather have CMC or Neighbors? I'm kind of going CMC early at this point.
I think that's probably if I was going to bet, I would bet on the dude who his floor, if healthy, is like 22 points.
They said that he made every practice in OTAs, so he's looking pretty healthy right now.
Yeah, that's all you can base it on, And I, even though I'm a little afraid of what it looks like 2 years from now. If I'm making a 1 year bet, there is no better 1 year bet than a guy like being able to get him and knowing that he has a chance to be the overall RB1.
And I know everyone loves GT.
That is a fan.
Come on. CMC?
Yeah.
GT.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we did the same thing with Bijan 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah, 2 years
we
ago.
Did. And he was good, but he wasn't great. We did the same thing with Marvin Harrison last year. He was fine, but not great.
Oh, but did you see those biceps in the X-Verse, man? You need those biceps for the catches.
I heard that photo might have been doctored up a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on. Don't do him like that.
That's...
We're going to be catching strays from MHGA fans.
What's your deal against Mark? We don't have to do this right now. We don't have to do this.
I love MHGA. Well, I'm all in. It's not on the bicep photo.
I'm all in too. That's
fair. That's fair. I wouldn't be. Just maybe they figure it out offensively. Addi, it's another episode has come and gone. We've talked some 0 RB candidates. We've convinced Scott somehow or another that we're not complete and blithering morons. So tell the people what they need to know before we get out of here.
Well, I definitely didn't convince him of anything. He knows me. But that being said, definitely check us out. We're 2 Guys 1 Pod. Find us on X at 2 Guys 1 Pod FF. Find me at Duck League Champ on X, Instagram, and League.champ on TikTok. And obviously download the League Champ app on the App Store and Google Play. We are live. We're coming out with a very cool new feature next week, so keep your eyes open. Very excited to roll that out. And Scott, tell us where we can find you.
I'm at smaltes on X, and that's about all.
Love it.
You can find me here on this pod, hopefully every once in a while.
Yes. So I wasn't able to join you for the first episode, but yeah, we're going to do these quite often because, I mean, we appreciate the insight that you offer to us, because we would just be rambling about what we think and arguing about players that we seem be good but think they won't be good for some reason. But that's a different story for a different day. I am the legendary ball knower, and this has been another episode of Two Guys One Pod. Always and forever remember, George Pickens forever. Drake London now is light skin Al Gaib. And you guys have a good night, everyone.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.